Go.
The Stamp-A-Majig is a stamp positioner which allows for fast and precise stamp placement. It comes with two parts, a plastic imaging sheet and the actual hard positioner itself, which has a non-skid base, making it easier to work on your projects without it sliding. Now, the way you typically use the Stamp-A-Majig is you set your imaging sheet, I don't know if you can see this, in the crook of the tool of the Stamp-A-Majig itself, so that it's touching on both sides. And this works for right-handed or left-handed use, so you can put it really in any corner that you want to use, whatever works for you. I tend to use it on the lower left-hand corner, so that's what I'm going to do. What you want to do is take your stamp and you're going to ink it up. I tend to ink it up with a darker colored ink so I can see it on my imaging sheet. But be sure when you do ink it, use a dye-based ink. Do not use your waterproof inks. You don't want to use a StazOn or something like that, because then you'll have a permanent imaging sheet, and that may not be what you're going for.
Go.
So once you have the image stamped on your imaging sheet, you're going to take your project and then you're going to line up where you want that image. And what's really great about the Stamp-A-Majig is this is the perfect tool to keep you from ever ruining a whole project with one crooked stamp. So now I've got this where I want it. I'm going to take my Stamp-A-Majig, line it up again the same way I did before, in the same corner, the lower left-hand corner, sliding it up so it abuts to the tool, remove the imaging sheet, ink up your stamp again. Of course, I should have cleaned it first, so I'm cleaning my stamp off. Ink it up, then I'm sliding it in so that it touches both of those corners. Stamp, and then you have perfect placement on your project. So there are other things you can do with your stamp positioner besides just using it as a stamp positioner. For example, you can use it to help you mount your rubber stamps on the blocks. To start, you will actually mount the rubber side on the block directly. And then you're going to line it up with the corner. So you'll have the imaging sheet lined up in the corner as we did before. You're going to ink up your stamp, line it up, and stamp so that you've got your image directly on there. Then what you're going to do is turn over so it's upside down, so the stamped side is facing down. Put a little bit of adhesive on the label itself. So I'm just going to use a little bit of snail adhesive, which is a repositionable adhesive. I'm going to peel off the label, and then I'm going to stick it so it lines up. And I don't know if you can see how I'm lining up the image.
Okay.
Once you have it aligned, what you're going to do then is put the block of wood in the corner, just like if you were going to be stamping it. And I did not actually mean to be stamping on my scratch paper here, but you're going to line it up in the corner. Then you're going to flip this back over, so now the label is sticky side down. Line it up in, and now what you have is that's exactly where your stamp is going to stamp every time. So if I wanted to stamp this, for example, I'm going to move this out of the way, I know that every time I put this here, it's going to stamp in the same position every single time. Now, something else you can do with your stamp positioner is with two-step stamping. So there's no need to realign the imaging sheet each time you stamp. Just use the corner of the Stamp-A-Majig to guide you. This method is perfect for two-step stamping sets, but you may like it so much that you'll use it with all your stamps. So how you do this is you're going to mount the first stamp as we talked about. So that's the one that I already just did. Then you're going to stamp this as we already did. I'm going to actually stamp it one more time since my image is sort of gotten too light on me. So I'm going to stamp it one more time so you see it lined up like that. Then I'm going to take the two-step Stampin' image and line it up inside until it fits perfectly. And once you have it lined up, put the imaging sheet back against the stamp positioner, take your block of wood, line it up, press it down, and now you have it lined up perfectly. Positioner down, stamp the image, leaving the stamp positioner in place, stamp your second image, and you have them perfectly lined up. Another kind of cool thing you can do with this is called shadow stamping. What you do is you take a light image first, and then you stamp it, and then you use your stamp positioner. Again, you're going to use it just like a stamp positioner. You're going to line it up in the corner, stamp on the imaging sheet, then you're going to line it up on your project just slightly offset. So what you're going to get is a shadow image. Ink it up one more time, stamp there, and you have what's considered shadow stamping. I hope you've enjoyed the different ways that you can use the stamp positioner. It's a great tool.